Hey girl, welcome to Finding My Best Self, the podcast where it's totally okay to show up in your leggings and messy bun. Because let's be real, that's our uniform here. The only rule is to be unapologetically yourself.
And I'm Mandi, and joining me is Pam, the queen of finding the silver linings. We're here to share laughs, tears, and everything in between. Think of us as your new best friends with some stories to tell and wisdom to share.
From face palms to victories, we're diving into the journey of self-discovery, wellness, and what it means to truly embrace who you are. So whether you're conquering the world or just trying to find your phone in the black hole, purse, we've got you covered.
Because here it's all about encouraging you to lace up those sneakers, or don't, we're not judging, and join us as we explore what it truly means to own your confidence and find your best self.
So pour yourself a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and let's get into it.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Finding My Best Self podcast. I'm Mandi St. Germaine. I'm coming in solo today. Pam had her solo last week, and so today we're going to be digging into a new topic that I really am excited to share with you today. Just before we get started, if you haven't left us a review, we would love to hear from you. We are always looking for feedback, always looking for new content or questions, topics that you would love to hear on the podcast. So make sure that you drop that in there. Just show us some love. We love to hear feedback from y'all. So jumping in, it's middle of January. I am currently filming this on January 20th. So I feel like we can kind of look at our goals that we talked about from the first episode and see how we're doing. I don't know about you, but I'm resetting. Like already a couple of weeks in, I am already ready to start over. Let me explain. So I don't know about y'all, but I have been just feeling in kind of like this energy of just a slump, not really a full slump, I have to say. Like the year's been great so far, but just kind of having a hard time with setting those intentions that I had originally said that I was going to do. I have been very consistent with my morning routine, which I do have to, say that that's kudos. But I don't know about y'all, but I just feel like the weeks have just been rough. I don't know if it's just things that are happening or it's just been busy, but it's been a little bit harder to kind of gain that control or just that obedience, as I said, was my word for the year. So just checking in with y'all. Leave us some comments on how y'all have been feeling so far. And definitely know that you're not alone. I feel like everyone that I've talked to over the last couple of weeks has just been struggling. We are on the struggle bus. We are trying to find that mental clarity and focus. And it's been a challenge. And so I want today's episode to kind of go into more intentionality, looking back at things that you may have started the year already and kind of readjusting, but then also kind of going into that spiritual warfare or gaining your kind of composure as we move into the next month of the year. For me personally, it's just been one of those things that has just had to be a daily reminder, right? So like we have to constantly remind ourselves of either your word of the year or your goals and just continuously to do what you can when you can. Because I'll be real with you, not every day I am like full on, let me journal for an hour and let me, listen to inspiring podcasts and let me do this. Let me kind of have my me time. I'm doing what I can when I can because the mental focus has just been tough. It's been tough. And like I said, I don't know what it is, but I know I'm not alone. You're not alone. And it's just to have that intentionality behind it. So I want us to kind of start off by looking at, our routines, because I really do feel like how I said, like our morning routine, afternoon routine, no matter if you're a morning or afternoon person or evening person, that routine matters so much because it's really going to start your day off or end your day on the right foot to prepare you for the next thing. And if we don't set aside time for that, then that's where we become to get into like those cycles of just day after day, kind of pushing through, not really having a plan. And then next thing you know, it's 6 months into the new year and we're like, we haven't done anything we said we are going to do. So for me personally, the morning routine, I am a morning person. I wake up probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock. And I know that that sounds super early. We have to be out the house by 7. So like it's the only option I have. But depending on the day, I may sit and journal and read for 30 minutes or an hour. It really just depends on what I'm feeling. I don't want to like super push myself to say, okay, you have to do an hour, you have to do 30 minutes every day, because some days you feel it and some days you don't. I think for me personally, it's just one of those things that it becomes that routine to where you're just doing something, whether it's 10 minutes, whether you're listening to a podcast while you're getting ready, or personally, I like to use the Bible chat app in order to kind of listen to the verse of the day or just a devotional of the day, because sometimes I don't have time to sit down and read. It may be on those busier days where I need to sleep in. My body is just telling me, like, hey, look, you're not waking up early today. This is all you've got. And it kind of relates back to this Mel Robbins quote that I had read years ago, but kind of like giving your percent for the day. And me and my husband use it within our marriage also on, where you at today? Are you like a 80 or are you feeling a 20? And that person kind of picks up, the slack from the other. So it's days like that where I might be at a 20%. I don't have very much to give. And so just finding those little times in your day to kind of set time aside. And so whether that is morning or night for you, I know some people have a nighttime routine where they read and journal and kind of prepare their to-do list for the next day. And that's also a great way to set the intention. But those routines for me are so important because, like I said, it sets the tone not only for the day, but for the week and for the month. And obviously, just like working out, eating right, doing things, that routine is going to create that habit. And so the more that we kind of set that focus, that's whenever it becomes the non negotiable. And so that even goes with devotionals and prayer and kind of starting your day off that way. We always seem to put everything else first. But whenever we put that time set away to pray and to talk to God, that those are the times that we can really hear what He has for us and really be still and be able to move forward. So starting my day off that way is important because I'm putting Him first before I even do anything, before, I wake the kids up, before I get ready, before we go on with our day. I'm starting my day off with Him, whether it is 10 minutes or an hour. I've had days where I can sit there for an hour and journal and pray and be all in it. And there's other days where I'm just like, God, thank you. I appreciate you. This is all I have. So you definitely have to not set yourself up and say, oh, I have to do this an hour every single day, because that's just not realistic. And when we make unrealistic goals, that's whenever they fail, right? So kind of looking back at your list or your words of the year from the beginning and kind of refocusing, are you doing the things that you said you were going to do? And I know this is sad because it's only been a couple of weeks, but I'm there. I know, I'm with you. Like, we cannot just let it go and say, okay, January 1st, this is my word of the year, and I'm never going to look at it again. It has to be that constant reminder that you're looking at these things every single day and reminding yourself, this is what I want to accomplish this year. This is what I want to see for myself. This is the direction that I want to go. And so for me, my words were presence, obedience, and perseverance. So, presence in my family, in my personal life, obedience whenever it comes to my faith, and perseverance whenever it comes to my business. And so, it's these things that I constantly have. And I'm going to show you, if you're watching on video, that this is what I have next to my desk right here. And it has the word obedience, and it has different Bible verses around. And this is just a constant reminder to be obedient. And what that means for me is to do the daily routines, do the things that I know to put my faith first, but also that could be anything in your life. That could be your presence with your family. Am I putting my phone down in the afternoon whenever we have time together or during the day? What are you idolizing? Are you having the social media to consume and take your time? Or are you putting things away in order to put presence and family and all of that time, that if that's one of your goals. So for me personally, social media with the whole TikTok thing going around, like I was one of those people that was kind of taken by it because it's something I enjoy. It's something I like to view. But I did also learn that with the ban and with it going black and dark and everything like that, that I was idolizing it a little too much. I was putting a little too much time and effort into it whenever I could have been doing other things with that time. Do I think it's still enjoyable to do, to scroll on social media? Absolutely. I mean, I learned so much from everything on TikTok that I haven't learned in the 38 years of my life. But at the same time, these are the things that are going to take time from the things that you want to have that importance from, right? So whether that be your family life, your personal life, or if you have a business or a dream or a goal, we have to kind of watch what we're doing with our time, because time is something that obviously we cannot get back. And that word has just kind of come up for me lately, as far as where is my time going? What am I spending time doing? And so being able to kind of time block my day, and that's something that I've always struggled with, but I do feel that whenever we set time away for certain things that we want to make a priority, it makes things go so much easier because it creates those habits. Going back to, working out and taking care of ourselves, it's one of those things also, right? Like it has to create that habit, whether you manage to wake up early. My goal is to work out for 30 minutes every morning. Does it happen on all days? I'm going to be honest, it doesn't. Because, like I said, for me, that's always been a hard thing. I can eat right and do all the other things, but to consistently work out, it's just been harder for me. Where other people, that's a non negotiable every day, where the food might be the issue. So it's going to take those times where you literally have to push yourself every single day to do it, to create that habit to where it just becomes your normal life. And so that can easily flow into, personal development, worship, anything that you feel like you need more of. You have to keep that routine focused. With that, though, definitely comes the spiritual warfare, or that pushback, or those moments where you start to doubt and everything creeps in, and you're just kind of have that imposter syndrome, right? Where you're like, oh, this isn't meant for me. Like, I don't know why I'm spending so much time doing this. This is definitely those times where that's going to push back. And you're going to have to fight through it, because a lot of the times, whenever we want to focus on something, that's whenever it starts to resist. And so, whether it be your devotional in the morning, or working out, or even staying hydrated, because if you're anything like me, I am a caffeine person and love all my things, but I know that my energy level is, affected by dehydration or not being hydrated. And so being able to kind of pray through your day and being able to set time away is going to help you to fight that spiritual warfare. Now, you're being pulled to do other things. Like, say, for instance, if you feel like you need to focus on, work more often or family more often, you are going to be shifted and pulled into those directions. The whole goal is to not be 100% in one area, right? Is to have that balance. And I know everybody says like, oh, there's no such thing as work-life balance. And there really isn't, right? We cannot be 100% in 10 different areas. But going back to that 80-20 rule, or that 70-30 rule, like you have to be able to give what you can where you can. And a lot of that is, a day by day or a week by week, kind of planning it out and saying, okay, I know this week I'm going to have this at work, or this at home, or these activities with the kids, and being able to see where you can put your time and your effort, and then praying through it. How am I going to get through this week? I mean, I know that I do that so much between MBS and the family and work. It's like, how am I going to get all these tasks done and still be present and still be able to shut things off and enjoy time with my family? That's why one of my words is presence, because I do struggle with that. It's hard to kind of put yourself into all these boxes and to not give it the attention that it needs. And so I think it's being very mindful of that and being able to kind of put on that scheduling that I was talking about earlier, that we all have to be a part of what we're trying to do. And so Joyce Meyer said something. I listened to her in the morning on on her podcast, and she said, "Put on your shoes of peace." So every time she sees the word "put on" in her Bible, she kind of puts a circle around it. And I thought that was such a simple thing, but also such a powerful thing, because God gives us a lot of things and He's not going to do it for us. We have to do it. We have to be a part. And all the things that we put ourselves and our time into, we have to be the ones that go and do our part, because we can pray for, guidance. We can ask Him to show us what we need to do. He can open the doors. But if we're not doing our part, then a lot of those things are going to fall through. So once again, what are you doing with your time? Are you being intentional? Are we looking back at those things that we said we were going to do? Are we being intentional with our morning or afternoon to prepare our mind and our heart for the day? And are we also having that guidance that He's showing us? A lot of the times we're so busy that we miss that. It may just be sitting still in the morning and just being quiet. I mean, we're constantly distracted by all the things. And so we lose focus whenever it comes to being able to provide that quiet time. And so just that peace is so much power whenever it comes to our time and what we're doing, and that we were made for a specific purpose and reason, that if we're not listening, we're not going to see what that call is. Now, you may be saying, like, oh, I just don't feel like I'm been called to do something massive and crazy. And it's like, something came to me the other day that was, you don't even have to be called to do all of these great things. You could be called to be where you are right now. And that has been such a huge piece for me, because I'm very much the person that always wants to strive, do more, do better, kind of get myself into different rooms and different situations. But a big thing that has hit for me this year is I'm called to be a mom. I'm called to be at home with my family. I'm called to be a wife. Because sometimes as moms or women, we overlook that because we're like, oh, that's great and all, but I want to do more. I want to be more. I want to have this and have that. But we lose focus on, God gave you what you have because you were meant for it. He gave you what you have because you were meant for it. You have a gift that you are here to share, whether that be as a friend, as a daughter, as a mother, as a wife. You're called for that. That's why you have that in your life. You wouldn't have that in your life if it wasn't meant for you. And so being able to just be content with that. And I feel like that's such a hard thing for a lot of us, because we do want more. We do want to accomplish more in our life. And when we always think of like a calling or a gift, we're thinking it has to be something dramatic. With this comes, comes that spiritual warfare, because a lot of the times that's where that doubt comes in, and that's where it creeps in and it says, oh yeah, you're not called to do anything. You're just a mom, or you're just at home, or you just work at this job. And that's not true. You were fearfully and wonderfully made just the way you are. God did not make a mistake. He definitely wanted you to be exactly who you are in this season of life. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I have lived 20 seasons of life just in the 38 years I've been alive. I feel like I can look at pictures and I'm a completely different person than I was back then. Or I can look at last year and be a completely different person. God is continuously building, growing, and changing us to be who He created us to be. We just have to be able and willing to put on our shoes of peace, be able to put on all the things that He is giving us, and to do something with it. And so, what I want you to take from today is that no matter if you are struggling with starting the year off, or if you are thriving and getting through all of the things that you said you were going to get through, it's to keep that routine, to keep that in the forefront. That way, it's the driving force for you every single day. That when you get up, that you were fearfully and wonderfully made, and that everything that you have to give to someone is worth it. And that you know that everything that you are coming up against, that you can fight because he is with you. And that you know that you are capable of doing anything that you choose to. You have the guidance to do it. Ask and you'll receive. You definitely are made for more, whether it is at home with your family or out, achieving these big goals. Nothing has been made by mistake. And so I want you to kind of take on for this next week, looking at your routines. How can you improve what you're doing? What are some things and some tasks that you can kind of change? And where's some time that you can readjust? For me personally, that's going to be my social media time. I definitely have an eye opening that I need to put the phone down and be present. I need to make sure that I'm staying consistent with all the things that are going to make me feel like my best self, whether it's journaling, working out, eating healthy, drinking my water and not all of my caffeine, and definitely diving into the things that make you feel good. Because let's be honest, we're pulled in 10 different places every single day. We have so many hats and so many roles that we take on as women that you know what's going to happen. We're going to get burnt out. You're going to lose sight. And then next thing you know, it's going to be the end of 2025 and all of that is going to be gone. Time is going to be gone. So take this today. I hope that this kind of shed light for you. I know it was a quick episode, but I just kind of wanted to leave you with something that you could take with you this next week. And we have some amazing things coming in the next couple of weeks. So be sure to continue to listen and watch the podcast. As always, remember you are strong, you are capable, and you are worthy. I love you, and I'm endlessly rooting for you.
Well, that's a wrap on today's episode of Finding My Best Self. It's been real. It's been fun. We hope you found a piece of your story in ours and feel a little more inspired to chase after your best self.
And don't forget to share this episode with someone who needs a little boost today or a good laugh. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode.
Nothing says owning your confidence like a new outfit from MBS Fit Co. Check out the show notes for the link to shop our luxury athleisure. Go ahead, girl. Treat yourself.
And if you've got a story to share or a topic you're dying for us to cover, drop us a line. Our email is in the show notes. Just reach out and let's keep the conversation going.
So until next time, keep owning your confidence, embracing the chaos, and remember, the best version of you is just an episode away.
And again, we love you and we're endlessly rooting for you.